Are you curious about Rajyogas? Have you met an astrologer who has told you you have some wonderful Rajyogas in your chart? Don't worry, your life is all set. Beautiful it is going to be. I meet a lot of people, and one of the most curious questions that they ask me is, tell me about Rajyogas in my chart. And when I tell them, the next question is, oh, I have so many wonderful Rajyogas, then why haven't I realized their potential? Why am I still not as successful as I want to be? And it's a very valid, absolutely valid concern and a very important question to ask. You should always ask this to an astrologer. What is happening with my Rajyogas? I'll try to explain it in a way which is relatable to us, right? Rajyog is made up of two words. Raj, which means royal, and Yog, which means a combination. Royal combination. We have all learned about electricity from our childhood. In our school, we a little bit learned about it. We understood, we remember vaguely. I'll keep it simple. There are three things about electricity, right? The first is the generation. The generation happens in a power plant. Some power plants are capable of powering an entire house. Some power plants are capable of powering an entire city. Maybe sometimes several cities. So, look at that Raj Yoga in your chart as the power plant. It's the potential to produce electricity. How much potential? Is it for good enough to power a house, or is it good enough to power an entire state? Now that's when we decide the level of the potential in your chart. Why am I saying this? Well, let us take an example. One of the most powerful Raj Yoga that is formed in our chart is when the ruler of one of our Kendra houses, houses number 1, 4, 7 and 10. These houses are called Kendra houses. When the ruler of these Kendra houses goes into a Trikona house, house number 5 and 9, these are called Trikona houses. For example, the ruler of your 4th house goes into your 5th house, or the ruler of your 10th house goes into your 9th house. A powerful Raj Yoga. Similarly, reverse is also true. When a ruler of your Trikona, house number 5 or 9, goes into your Kendra houses, 1, 4, 7, 10, that's also a very powerful Raj Yoga. Now there are some ascendants where this kind of a Raj Yoga is the Raj Yoga that is equivalent to a power plant that can power a state. Why? Why do I say that? Let's take the example of Taurus ascendant. The 7th house of Taurus ascendant is ruled by Mars, Scorpio. The sign in the 7th house is Scorpio. The ruler of Scorpio is Mars. The 9th sign in Taurus ascendant is the sign of Capricorn, the 9th house sign rather. Now if this Mars, which rules the 7th house, gets positioned in the 9th house of Capricorn, what happens? Mars gets exalted. It becomes ultra powerful. It becomes so powerful that it can power an entire city. Now the reverse is also possible. In certain ascendants, the ruler of 1, 4, 7, 10 or the ruler of 5 and 9 can land in a house where there is a sign where it gets either debilitated or it is the sign of its enemy. And that's where the problem starts. That's when we believe the power of this power plant, the Rajyog capability, the potential is not much. It is enough to power a house, right? So that's the difference. You have to first understand what kind of a capability does that Rajyog have. The second thing in electricity is that of distribution and transmission. Now, it's important that when a power plant generates electricity, it is transmitted at the right time, at the right place. If that is not happening, everything is of no use, that potential. And as in Jyotish, the Rajyog gets transmitted, reaches to you when you have the right dasha, the right Mahadasha or the right Antardasha. Same example, Taurus ascendant, Mars is in the 9th house, 7th house Lord is in the 9th house, wonderful, very powerful. But if you don't run the Mahadasha of Mars at the right time, right? So Mars is in the 9th house. 9th house is all about Bhagya and fate and all good things, right? It's a wonderful house, most auspicious house. And when do you need your Bhagya most? All throughout life. Of course you need it all throughout life. But you need it at certain very strategic times, right? For example, you appeared for an Indian Institute of Management interview. There were like thousands and thousands of candidates. All are equally good. How is it that few of those get selected? Their Bhagya has to support them. So if during that interview of IIM, you are running a very powerful Mars Dasha, you get selected, right? Similarly, Mars rules 7th house and is in 9th house. That means Mars will also leverage your 7th house to deliver you the results of your 9th house. Maybe you are a businessman and you need a partnership to win a huge deal. At that time, you're running a Mars Mahadasha or Antardasha, and you partner with the most perfect partner at that time. And you win this deal. Fate, luck is with you. So the dasha has to be activated. Gochar or transit also plays an important part. If during Mars Mahadasha, when you are entering into a very important partnership and your dasha is Mars's Mahadasha and you're feeling that I'm very confident that I'm going to get a great partner. But at the same time, Mars is transiting, say 6th house, or Mars is transiting 8th house. Trouble. Right? You will not get the result of that outcome. The third thing in electricity, the third thing is also equally important, which is the consumption of electricity. Generation, distribution and consumption. And in case of Jyotish, that is essentially your free will. That is your ability to exercise the right karmas at that time. If you choose the right karmas, only then you will get the results. If the consumption of the electricity is happening in an empty house, it's waste. If the consumption is happening for a criminal activity, it's terrible. But if consumption is happening to produce certain goods, certain products that are going to save lives. Wonderful, right? I'm not saying that you need to choose your karmas as per the world accepted norms. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, hand on heart, you will know what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. Choose the right thing to do when you are right Mahadasha, right Antardasha that activates a power plant or a Rajyog in your chart, right? So the three things are equally important: generation, distribution, consumption. And that's when we map it to Jyotish, Rajyog in your chart, which is the power plant. The distribution is the dasha, either a Mahadasha or a powerful Antardasha at the right time, when you are in the right place. And the third is what karmas you choose. What do you consume that electricity for? If you always check all these three things in your chart from a Rajyog standpoint, you will always get the right results. You will always achieve success. Nothing in this world can stop you from achieving success and realizing the full absolute potential of that Rajyog. Thank you.